Hey guys, welcome back to the Christmas edition of Draw Along Doodles with Walker. We are going to go in, and this is kind of a folksy looking angel. She's playing the harp as she flies around. It's not very realistic as far as like her hands are going to be all together, her feet are going to be all together, but it gives you that light, happy feeling. All right, so we're going to start off. And we have our paper sideways because she takes up way more room than you realize. Now, if you put about a hand at the end, and then you come in with your second hand, that's about where we're going to put her face. So we're going to come, make a V with a slight curve at the bottom. So it's not quite a U. Then we're going to curve across the top, and we're going to let those lines that curve across the top go a little over the U or slash V. Now we're going to make a long upside down U to create her hair. And we're going to wing it out, wing that line out. Now we need to create her neck and her body. So what we're going to do is start where her neck would be, and then we're going to curve long down and back. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start where her neck would be, long down and back, but with not as much of a curve. Okay, now we're going to let her wings happen a little bit below where this is. We're going to come up and over. Here's the mark where you're coming back into. You're going to wave out once, make a bump, and then make a small bump. To get our wing that's behind, we're going to go a little bit above this wing. We're going to go up, across, and then we're going to imitate this curve coming down. Okay, so now her hair's taken care of. And I'm going to come in and put in her arms. Like we said, she's very folksy, so it's not like, oh, here's her shoulder, here's her elbow. Instead, it's going to swoop down and forward from the side of the dress, and it's going to get wider for those big, wide bell sleeves. Then I'm going to put her hand towards the top, and it's going to look a little bit like a jelly bean, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, obviously, her back arm is coming from behind the body. So when we go in to do that, we'll just start at her side, and we'll come out and across. And then we are going to wait to do her hand until we've done the harp. Okay, now harp. If we start our harp right here, we need to make sure it's kind of angled along with her body. But there's our starting place. So we're going to have this little finial kind of situation at the top. We're going to have the long piece down the side. Towards the bottom, we're going to add a curved rectangle and then another curved rectangle because that's the big foot. That's where it sits. Okay. Now we're going to let it come down, bump, out, and then it's going to curve in until it gets there. Okay, so I need to give that some width. So it will come along here. And then I'm going to extend this to meet up with the bottom because traditionally it meets the foot. Okay, so there's what I have right now. What I need to do is come in and add her hand. So her thumb is leaning over slightly to hold and grip around that, just like I might grip this. And then the back of her hand is back here. Okay. You can also angle it a little bit if you feel like maybe she was trying to play as she flew. I'm going to draw the lines. They're going to be parallel to that back part that I drew. And later, I am going to use thin Sharpie on these because it can get a little bit busy and a little bit difficult to see with all the harp strings. Okay, very good. Now I need to add her feet. Close to the top, I'm going to go small bump, curve up, curve down. She's got her pointed feet. Small bump, curve up, and curve down. There we go. Okay, now to help us separate where her neck and her dress meet, we're going to come a little bit above this arm that's in the back, and we're going to curve to create the neck of her dress. Then we're going to come right in the middle of that face. We're going to give her two eyes that are closed peacefully and a little smile. All right, while we're up here, let's go ahead and get her big halo. So we're coming around, almost like there was a big circle running behind her head, like a dinner plate. And then I'm going to put little lines of radiance coming. And I like to put little sparkles at the end. You don't have to, but just part of what I like to do to make her look like she's shining. All right, now we're going to come in and we're going to add the details for the dress. So I think for this one, I want a straight stripe and then a scallop. So come and add the scallop back there. Now I'm going to give her a curve to define her waist right here. So here's our curve. And then I'm going to put a little row of dots right there. They're also curving around. I'm going to kind of make big, almost petal looking forms that are rounded down here to give her kind of a sweet ethereal look. Okay. Come and give her another curving line to divide that section up. Get a couple curving lines down here. And then I think this one's going to be just a regular line. This one is going to have a tight scallop. So those bumps that happen. And then I want to do almost kind of like a pattern of shapes that are falling between these. So I'm going to start with some ovals because a lot of the things in this picture are elongated. And then I'm going to put some circles in between in what we would call the window. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to come get something down here. I kind of think I want to make it a checkerboard so that I could do, like red, right, red, right. There we go. And last but not least, a couple of shapes in her wings to help us understand them and to finish off the look that you have. 2. And then we're going to do a shape right here. 1, 2. I'm going to put a little circle right there. Okay, so the most difficult place for us to see what to do with Sharpie is up where her arms are. So I'm going to come get her arms nice and settled so that then when I go into the next part, it won't be stressful. Bump, 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 bump. I'll get this hand. Okay. Now, I get the other arm. And I'm going to get that little bit of our thumb that's over the edge. I'm going to get the bump, bump, bump of her dress. And I'll go ahead and get the back of the hand right there. All right, let's get the harp. So right here, going along. Very good. Remember, I am going to go in front of that hand because that hand is holding it from behind. And once I've done this, then I can add some details on the harp if I want it. For example, if I want it to have kind of a ledge, if I wanted it to have some carvings or indentations in there. And now I can go and worry about the lines that are creating the curves for her body. So I've gone down and around, down and around, curve the face, her bangs, her hair, and I'm going to get her halo. Mm-hmm. There we go. Now I can come and get her wings. So 1, 2, and then I'll get the shapes inside. Now, if you were somebody who liked to use the different sizes of Sharpies, the shapes inside the wing might be a good place to go in and use the thin Sharpie instead of the thick one. All right. Get the line down here by her feet and take care of her feet. And now I'm going to get all these lines that are separating things on her dress. So the neckline, the waistline. You could outline these circles if you wanted to so that they weren't black circles, but instead they were a color that you could color in. I'll get our kind of petal-like forms down here. Our ovals. Then I'll get our circles. A good creation for down here with our scallops. Those even bumps. And then we did decide to go in and create a checkerboard. Okay. Now, the last thing that I need to go and do is her strings on her harp. So I'm going to use this thin Sharpie. And as usual, I need to wake it up a little bit by scribbling it around. And I'm going to draw down. That way I can get all of our things attached. Some people like to go sideways. They feel like that's easier to hold on to. I generally find it's easier to go downwards so you can drag your hand along with you. But whatever works for you is fine. Okay, guys. And now you have your angel. I hope you enjoy adding some color and making it your own. Bye.